Hey everybody, in this video in the AWS series, what we're going to do is we're going to continue to build out this Terraform design and network design that we started in the last video. So the first thing we want to do is we want to have a shared account, right? We want to have a network account. Right now we have management, log archive, and audit. Those are shared accounts. But what we need is we need a networking or infrastructure account where we're going to put all the VPCs that we create in that account. And what we'll do is we'll share out subnets using Resource Access Manager. Now this is a best practice, so I'm going to put in my email. This will be the infrastructure account. And the display name, we'll just call this infrastructure. Infrastructure, that's good. Okay. And this will again be, we'll just use Chris R at chrisrtest.on microsoft.com. That's my Azure address. And we're gonna set that up once we get this configured. We'll just put this in the, it's not dev or prod, so right now we'll just leave it without a organizational unit. Account factory, we don't need that. Let's see if we can do that without selecting the OU. I don't know if we can. Now we need to select an OU. So let's put it in Chris.org. We'll just put it in the Chris.org OU. And we'll probably move it to its own shared OU a little later. But for right now, let's just do this. Create this account. And then we will continue with this video once that account's created. So the point is that this account will be used for creating VPCs, creating internet access, creating possibly a shared VPC for egress traffic if you want to inspect it. Also for transit gateways, things of that nature. Doing any kind of VPC peering, it can all be done from this one account. So you're generally going to have a group of people or a person that is going to create all the VPCs and then share them out to accounts, and then you can give the rights in those subnets that are shared out to those accounts that people can build different EC2 instances or whatever they want. It makes it so that you could share more. You could share it to different accounts and make better use of the IP ranges and the CIDRs and not have just tons of empty IP ranges, which is generally what happens when you're creating one in each account and different ones. And you don't want them to overlap in each account. So this is also a way to manage everything and be able to see what you have just by looking at that one shared account. So while this builds, I'm going to pause and I'll come back and we'll finish this up as soon as it's done. Thanks. All right, so the account is right here. You see the infrastructure account being created in organizations. So what we'll do right now is we're going to go back to, we're going to go to Azure and go into admin and make sure we have all of our SSO created for this new account. So for a real world environment, what you would do, we're going into Azure AD right here. What you would do is create a new group, right? We created groups in here before for all the other AD. Right now we just have one user in those groups. So we have AWS developers. Well, I don't think we're using that one. Console admin, dev 0. These are for the different accounts, right? So we're going to do the same thing here. We'll just create a new group. And the group name is going to be AWS. That's what we like to put in front. And we'll call it, and then the name of the account, which is going to be infrastructure. And it's going to be the name of the account, AWS, the type of account, the group, and what access it has. So for this one, we're just going to do admins. We're just going to call this admins. So you can get much more granular, obviously. So let's do that, and let's create that, and we'll add users to it. Create. So click that. Create. Okay. So now let's refresh so we see it. And there it is. Okay, so now we see it. Let's go into it, and what we'll do is let's add some members. So in this case, we're just going to add the user, but you would add whatever user you need it to. Whatever user I'm going to add myself. Select. And I've been added. Okay. So once we've added it to there, infrastructure admins, we created that group, we go to enterprise apps, right? So this is, again, we have identity center. We go into there. And this allows us to assign users and groups. And here you can see groups are here. So let's go in here and add this group that we've assigned myself to into this enterprise app. So infrastructure admins, select. Okay, group's been at, oh, do I have to click assign? Okay, so it's been assigned to the enterprise app. Now, again, provisioning, we have to wait for the provisioning to take place. Let's see when it ran last. One user, 3 groups. Let's see if we can stop provisioning. Okay. And then I want to start provisioning. Okay, so let's see what happened there. So applications, enterprise app, let's go back into the app and just make sure that we can restart that. I want to go back to provisioning, and it looks like we are waiting. Let's see what's going on here. Got some slowness. All right, so okay, so there we go. So now we can start provisioning. And hopefully what will happen here is that we see the provisioning right away. So I want to refresh here. Let's see if this, right now we have 3 groups provisioned. We can also go over and look at the account, right? SSO, we can go into SSO here. Let's take a look. SSO, it's IAM Identity Center now. what we can do is should be able to see it in groups if it's provisioned. And we see prod, Chris Org, and dev01. So do we see it? Yeah, we do actually see it. So there it is. AWS Infrastructure Admin. So that is in here. So that did, and you can see it's created by SCIM. So that is coming over from over here, from Azure. Okay, so once we have that, let's go into AWS accounts. And what we should see, if this account is ready, here we go. We're going to click here and assign a user group. And we're going to assign infrastructure admins and click next. And we're going to find our permission, AWS administrator access, next. And we're going to submit that. Okay, so that should give us, now if we go into My Apps and we click right there, we should see now 4 accounts. And there it is. The infrastructure account has been created. Let's see if we can get in there. And yeah, we can get in there. Okay, so this is our infrastructure account. It's been created. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and make sure I'm going to copy the account ID. I think that's what I need. And what I want to do is I want to go in to File Explorer. Okay. And I want to set up our config file. So the .aws here, and we go into the config, and I should be able to open this with, let's open it. We'll just open it with Notepad. Let me grab that, bring it up. Okay, so you can see we have these profiles. So what we'll do is I'm going to paste, actually, there's our new account number. And then I'm going to grab one of these profiles. So in this SSO region, make sure you use the correct region there. Even if you're putting all your EC2 instances, everything, all your infrastructure in a different account or a different region, you use this if SSO is set up in US East 1. So that's something that, you know, I guess shouldn't really be confusing, but was a little bit. Okay, infrastructure. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy this, we'll cut it, and paste it right in here. So this is going to give us the ability to use this in granted. Paste that, and I think everything else can stay the same. Let's do a file save on it, and this should allow us to connect to this account once we need to in using SSO in Terraform or whatever command line we're using. So I'll show you how to use the command line with SSO, because that's going to be a little different probably than the way you've done it before with hard coding access keys, which you don't really want to do. So okay, so that is ready to go. The last thing we can do is just go into here, and we can create ourselves. We can do a copy. We'll copy this. And paste it in here. All right, and then we'll rename this. Whoops, rename this one. And we're going to rename it infrastructure. And this is for granted. That's what we're going to use this for. And then we will look at, oh, we just want it to go to properties. And the properties are on this other screen. So let me bring that up. And this is the command line, right? Assume.bat, c prod 001. So this is going to be the same name that we put in that config infrastructure. That should be it. Okay. And that may or may not work yet. We can try it out. Okay, it looks like it did work. We're in the 7809. I believe that is the correct one. This is it too. 7809. Yep. Okay, so that's working. We're good. And we're able to use granted. We're able to use that. Now we have it in AWS SSO. So now we're ready in the next video to get started with doing some Terraform and really digging into it and creating our infrastructure. So thank you very much. I appreciate everybody watching. Please subscribe. Thanks.